Bill Claudza here. Welcome to an Ixalan draft with a tough first pick, I would say, between Regisaur Alpha and Merfolk Branchwalker. I really love this card. Solid, whether it comes down as a 2-1 or a 3-2, it's always going to get you value. It's a 2-drop. Goes into one of the best decks, Merfolk, and also just any green deck. Regisaur Alpha is a lot of good value. It's been a while since I've done the dinosaur thing. We're just passing to Insane Merfolk and a Thrash of Raptors. So yeah, maybe this is a closer pick than it looks. The Alpha might have more overall power level, but I would not fault you for taking the Branchwalker in it. Gosh, it could even be correct. I'm going to start with the Alpha though. It's more exciting and something I have not done for a bit. And if we're lucky, then Merfolk will be completely cut off, and we'll be happy about this choice. Now, next up we have Tillinolly's Knight, which in the red-green dinosaur deck gets pretty powerful. Something like Trove could wheel. Maybe a Keeper or Crushing Canopy could come back, but the Knight is just great here as a follow-up to our first pick. Interesting. This is a late Territorial Hammerskull, just because it is such a good first pick, and it gives up a bit on our green for the dinosaurs. I think that's well worth it since we don't see another great option in this pack. So yeah, we'll go with the Hammerskull here. Our Merfolk coming too, Shapers of Nature this late. Probably not worth it to switch over, especially since none of our three cards go with it, but Bonded Horncrest is a lot of power and toughness for the low cost of 4 mana. It just needs some friends to attack with. And the turn you play it, I mean, it helps pump up Tillinolly's Knight, if that's not already big, so that's kind of the standout in this pack. Kamena's Speaker. Pirate's Cutlass, just hanging out here, just ignored by everyone so far. Wayfinder, if we're going in the green direction, that's going to be great. And Thrash of Raptors. And the direction we're going, I actually like Thrash of Raptors more than maybe the Cutlass here, and I'm going to pick that. We're not really sure whether we're green second or white second, because we have two excellent cards, one of each color. But the Thrash is pretty clearly going to wreak havoc and all that. Dreadmaw. I like Dreadmaw generally over the Sun-Crowned Hunters. Is there a reason to pick the Hunters instead? Because of the Hammerskull and the fact that we're definitely red as a main color, but not necessarily supporting a double green card. I'll still go with the Dreadmaw here. White seems to be not as plentiful as the green, and I quite like the Dreadmaw. Ooh, Pillar of Origins, and a foil one no less. That would help cast things like the Alpha Dreadmaw. We just have all of these dinosaurs. And Nest Robber is fine, but not that exciting. Same with the Daggertooth. I'm not super excited about it, but the Pillar of Origins does make a lot of sense in this deck. Alright, Wily Goblin, if we're really looking to splash some crazy things. Probably just Deeproot Warrior here. In general, we're leaning towards green-red at this point, and another one followed up with. Despite not having any particular dinosaur synergies, they're just good on their own. A 2-2 that is hard to block and does a pretty good job of blocking. Crushing Canopy is the one card that does wheel in this pack, and I'm fine with that. Commune. We're starting to get a lot of dinosaurs and some color requirements, so I'll take that here over Imperial Lancer because we're a little more committed to green at this point. Dual Shot versus Unknown Shores. I'm going to pick up the Dual Shot here. Diviner is fine. Chalice. The Unknown Shores is interesting. We really just have this one Hammer Skull, and it might not even make the main deck without more fixing, and if our deck's good enough. Playing it off of one pillar. I mean, I guess it is powerful enough, but it's not that good. Another Dreadmaw, and a Tishana's Wayfinder. I will take the Wayfinder here over the Dreadmaw, the Raptor, and the Buccaneers. It's just such a consistent little explorer where either mode will be good. Drawing a card or, you know, becoming a 3/3 that scries one effectively. Another Dreadmaw. Yeah, I quite like the Dreadmaw. It's the kind of card that when you resolve and it's not dealt with, it really helps stabilize things. And if we can get some ways to get it down early, like the Pillar, then we're in good shape. Or, even better, the Drover, which will make Hammerskull easier to play. Sunpetal Grove would be a nice pickup here, but Drover's just the nuts when you have a dinosaur deck that's heavy green. Yeah, that's a nice pickup here. Fire Cannon Blast and another Hammerskull. Is it possible that we are just a white-green aggressive dinosaur deck? Sometimes that deck gets a little more late game oriented, but this is a late Hammerskull, and I think you'd be crazy to pass it. Raging Swordtooth. Alright, let's keep picking up these crazy good dinosaurs. The Fortress does not help us splash. The Knight is probably what we want here. It's going to be better than the Deeproot Warrior in the decks that really care about it. That said, there's an argument for taking Pterodon Knight or even Sky Terror here, but we're so committed to green at this point, I'm not sure we can afford... I don't really know what we're doing here. I'm going to go for the Tillinolly's Knight. We've got these pulls into red and white, but the pulls into white are, I mean, they're really good, but they're a lot better if you're heavy white, and we're just not right now. Swashbuckling versus some other random stuff. I mean, the Arsonist is fine, but it's not a dinosaur. Go with the Swashbuckling here. We have enough 2-drops to make it kind of appealing. Keeper, Buccaneers. There's some upside to taking a Rallying Roar. Let's see what our mana cost looks like. We've got a lot of nonsense here. I'll go with the Buccaneers. We have 6 drops, so getting your 4 mana Explore is a nice way to help consistently draw more lands. One thing we don't have... Ooh, Caller versus Ceratops. Yeah, it doesn't look like we have enough white to justify playing a 1-drop white card that helps ramp. Just go with the Ceratops, but I'm not excited by either. What we don't have, it's a late call to the feast, is any enrage creatures. We just haven't even seen a good one to take. I guess we'll go with the Call here, although not easy to splash that, and we finally do get an Unknown Shores, filling out our sideboard nicely with Demolish, Crushing Canopy, cards that you could bring in Dual Shot, which I'd definitely bring in if I had a couple more Enraged creatures. Diviner, yeah, we have all these 2-drops. Wow, just all the 2-drops. Could have had 2 Shapers of Nature, and this pack is really weak for the dinosaur tribe. Take another Tishana's Wayfinder, I think. Boneyard Parley. If it was easier to splash in this format, we had a few enchant lands or something, you could consider taking that, but the Wayfinder's fine. Another Deeproot Warrior, another Swashbuckling. Shoot, I guess we take a Deeproot Warrior and make this into a hyper-aggressive deck. Swashbuckling could wheel. Kind of critical mass of 2-drops here. At this point, Diviner is not going to be as good as the other stuff. Pillar of Origins might not be as good. These Hammer Skulls. How good are the Hammer Skulls on turn 5? I guess they're still pretty good. We'll see what we can do here. Rallying Roar, Raptor's Companion, the Pyromancer, and Sun-Crowned Hunters. Nothing that's really amazing. I guess the Pyromancer's fine. At this rate, we kind of have a lot of aggressive stuff, but not much synergy. I don't know. I'm going to take that. Not many pirates either. So let's follow up all these good 2-drops with Crash the Ramparts. Another less than exciting pick, but I think it's fine. And the deck makes sense. Raging Swordtooth and Regisaur Alpha, they're going to be good whether or not you have dinosaur tribal synergies. We just have a nice aggressive little curve. Rootbound Crag, that's about perfect here. And it does help us splash our white. Just by making our red-green a little easier. So I think at this point we are looking to play these Hammer Skulls. We've got Pillar, Unknown Shores, and Drover, which all help out in a good way. Another Commune, I guess that's fine. Get our dinosaur count here. No 2-drop dinosaurs, I guess that's a little underwhelming. But we have plenty going on in the mid-game. Oh shoot, do we take another Dreadmaw? That's too many Dreadmaws for a deck like this, but we're not really doing much else. Let's see, that's 24. This looks like the deck at this point. Another dual shot in case that becomes important. Maybe just Fire Shrine Keeper. We're a bit mid-rangey for that effect. Yeah, this looks about right. Imperial Lancer, a little too early. Cobbled Wings. We have a couple things that work well with it. We'll just take it for the sideboard here. Pillage, don't really want to play against that. We could do something like Ceratops over Pyromancer. But the Pyromancer is a kind of a nice card to follow up a bunch of 2-drops attacking. Because it could finish off a 4/4, it could finish off your opponent. Get this for the sideboard here, Sentinel Totem. Yet to bring it in against anything. But yeah, this looks okay. Kind of a funny little Naya dinosaur deck. No serious power for the late game, but really consistent power. Just a bunch of 6/6s, some ramp to help get there. Pillage, not going to play those, not going to play black. Double Unknown Shores looks a bit weak. So what does this recommend? 14-9-2. Go down to 1 plains. 14 and 9. And put in something like this. Color. Buckling is late. The only red things we want to cast on time are these Tillinolli's Night, and that's more than enough. Whereas we have all of this stuff to do on time in green. So 8 sources for that, 9 I guess. We probably want 1 more source of green. And that should about do it. This gives us 3 sources of white for 2 white cards. Oh, Pillar? Why did I cut Pillar? Yeah, Pillar should definitely be in. Over something. Keep in Swashbuckling. Keep in our tricks. Maybe it comes in for a land, honestly. And that could be... That could be the forest we just worked so hard to add. 6, 7, 8... Might even cut the plains here. So that gives us 1, 2, 3. I kind of want the plains. You know what? I'm going to cut one more mountain for the pillar, place 16 lands, and then with this curve, that kind of justifies 16 lands. We don't have much card draw, so if we get flooded, then we're in bad shape. And all of our... Well, almost all of our late game stuff can be cast off of the Pillar of Origins. The one exception is Stormfleet Pyromancer, and we just hope that doesn't come up too often. Alright, a neat Naiad dinosaur deck here, pretty aggressive. We'll try it out in some matches. Hello and welcome to round 1. Will Dorf has decided to take the play from us. But our hand looks good. They're down to 5 cards, so that helps. Commune. What are we looking for? It's possible we get a land here. Pillar's a nice touch, but we'll run this out while we can. Colossal Dreadmaw, Horncrest, and Plains. Plains is boring. Maybe we just go for the Horncrest here. I mean, they're down to so few cards. We can go turn 4 Horncrest after Tillinolly's Knight, and that should be good. I mean, we expect to draw some lands this game. Follow that up with the Buccaneers. So here we go, Knight. Oh, that's interesting. What if we went Pillar of Origins this turn, Horncrest next turn, and followed that up with Brazen Buccaneers? No, I think we'd still go Knight. Maybe we'll draw a 2-drop dinosaur. We don't have any in the deck, so don't hold your breath. We could also draw that, which is good. Yeah, I'll offer the trade here. It does get bigger next turn, but if we're trading 1 for 1, then their mulligan to 5 does not help them out in this match. They'll attack here to get a raid trigger. That is fine. Maybe it's Skullduggery, who knows. Sure strike. But we're still trading 1 for 1, so I'm happy enough with all of this. Horncrest gets in for 3. And they might be thinking, okay, if we kill that Tillinolly's Knight, we won't have to take a big hit next turn. And they would be wrong. Unless they kill that and the Buccaneers. This is a new touch to Magic Online. When you've F6'd, it has this giant warning symbol. And your opponent can't see that. I don't think. I've never seen my opponent with one of these. But that would be kind of a... that would be... Yeah, that'd be pretty bad if your opponent could see this, because then you just do whatever you need to do without fear of getting countered or interacted with. Sacrifice a permanent? Why? That puts us so far behind. Ugh. That sucks. Okay. We can still do this here. I don't know what this does. I'll just go to the graveyard with Commune. We can still kind of attack in here. We get in 8. They kill another thing for free, so they've killed 2 cards for free this game. But next turn, they're going to have to take another 3 on their Arsonist, as long as they don't attack with it, and we can finish it off with the Sword Tooth. Yeah, seems like a good block for them. Bring it on, I say. Alright. Hopefully they don't have an answer to our Horncrest here. Yeah, stick to the plan. Either way they do this, they could double block our Horncrest or single block our Knight with, you know, the Arsonist. Are they able to? Oh, they're able to pump it up enough. So they're going to lose everything this turn, and we'll be left with a 5-5. So it'll still be okay. Always yield to this, although it's the last time. Goodbye, Arsonist. Does this guy hit himself? Each other creature. I guess it wouldn't make much sense to hit himself because it's not like he has an enrage trigger. We could name human with this pillar. I'm just going to play 1 creature. This plays around removal, but it doesn't play into the hands of, like, Star of Extinction. I mean, it kind of does, but at least we have 1 creature held back, so we don't lose outright to that. What was good there? It looks like getting to a bunch of... Whoops. I said getting to a bunch of 6/6 creatures is powerful in this type of matchup. Still got a lot of early stuff. I'm going to cut 1 Deeproot Warrior, put in a Diviner, and that should help make our draw a bit more consistent. Then we can take out Pyromancer and just hope that our Dreadmaw is better. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, this is assuming they're putting us on the draw. 16 lands still looks good. The communes become good late game to find our meat, our dinosaur steaks. And then the Buccaneers was pretty good that game with the Horncrest. It was all good stuff. Game 2 here. Opponent is already started off with a Skittering Heartstopper turn 1. We're going to commune into a forest. We kind of need more lands, although we need red lands here especially. So these little Death Touchers are going to interfere with our bigger threats, like our 6/6s and whatnot. We have 3 of those in the deck now. So it's an interesting question here between the Keeper and the Diviner. But the Keeper is nice because it trades off with a Heartstopper. And you're kind of trading down, but it's better to trade your 2-drop with a 1-drop than your 6-drop. So if they attack, it's a pretty easy block. Then we have Wayfinder to hopefully get us some more land. Alright, they've got their Rampaging Ferocidon. Fortunately, we're at a high enough life here that we're not too concerned about getting pinged. We don't have much life gain either. So we'll just see about how good that Ferocidon is. Blue. They've got all their pirate colors over there. No pirates yet. And now it's time to either block the 1/2s or try to get greedy here and block the 3/3, which is kind of a pain in our sides. I decide to block the 3/3 here, realizing that we get blown out by any trick, any removal spell, and yeah, of course they have it here. Lightning Strike would do it, but in this case it is Depths of Desire, giving us back the card that doesn't get us value for entering, so good for them. It turns out it means we can play 2 things this next turn, but I guess that's just more damage from the rampaging Ferocidon. Territorial Hammerskull. Now we don't have the red we need yet, but we do have Unknown Shores to help us get red. Once we get up to 6 lands, we can cast all of our stuff. So I like the 2/3. Might be a little greedy to put that on top because it doesn't interact so well with what they have on the board. So maybe something like Brazen Buccaneers would be better to trade off with the Heartstopper. So here they come. As promised, we don't want to take this extra damage, and we're going to have to deal with the Heartstoppers anyway. So put this Keeper in front of one of the Heartstoppers, and it uses up one of their swamps here. And that attack sort of means that they're out of tricks, or they really just want to get this looter. Because we could have double blocked the Ferocidon, and we've already shown that we're interested in doing that, so they're not going to bluff a trick. So instead, they just don't attack. All right, here's our Hammerskull, and to use our mana a bit better, get this Brazen Buccaneers into play. And if it finds a land, great. If it does not find a land, we probably have to bin it. All right, we're really on the back foot here. They've only got 2 cards in hand, but their card quality is improving. They looted away an Opt, which means they found something pretty good. Opt could have helped them dig even further to something they needed. And here, again, it looks kind of strange, but the card quality in our hand is so good, we just don't want to take this extra damage. And we can play a 3/3 this turn at the least. Possibly two creatures, a 4/4 and a 3/3, if we can get that land for the alpha. They'll continue to loot. Discarding a swamp improves their card quality. And yeah, we'll get the Raptors out. A bit unfortunate to see another Dreadmaw right on top, because that could be a powerful draw later in the game. But now, not only do we not get the land we need right away, but we won't see a powerful Dreadmaw off the top later. Which I guess is worse if you're putting it in the graveyard. At least we have it in our hand. Better than out of the game. All right. This is a scary attack. We have to make some blocks and trades if we want to live. It's reasonable here to take out the Ferocidon. I mean, this exposes us to a ton of damage, but at least we're not taking more off of our own creatures. And if we get Alpha out, we don't have to worry about them having too many creatures. Maybe Flyers would be a problem. Now, what they're thinking about is how many times to pump their Pirate. Because they can't pump it lethally, or else this would be a really bad block. But they can get up to 9. Something like a Sure Strike would kill us here. Lightning Strike similar. And they pump it once. If they're only pumping it once, I mean, that's fair. They're not going to kill us anyway. This lets them follow up with something. Sailor of Means. The more creatures they put into play, the more difficult this gets to try and block everything. Discarding Mark of the Vampire, so they have something better than Mark of the Vampire, and that is scary. We'll play 2 creatures here, which would save us if they had nothing. And it's that unfriendly fire, so they got in just enough damage over the course to kill us. Exact damage that turn. Alright. Sideboarding. Is it worth doing anything different? We have some life gain, the Chalice. But really we just want to survive, so taking out a powerful 6/6 trample for a 4/4 that can block another creature seems to be reasonable, since we're going to win that late game anyway. Any late game where we can cast 1 or more Dreadmaws. Assuming they survive. Yeah, and we're back on the play for this. Looks like a fine hand. It's got 2 lands, but the potential to find more. If we see Mountain here, that might be an easy card to take. And so we do. Drover is not one we can get, and the other dinosaur just runs the risk of not drawing our Mountain. Wow, all the colors now. Deeproot Warrior coming out. God, that card's so good. Even in this dinosaur, you see, this dinosaur deck rather, you see how good Deeproot Warrior can be. Just so hard for anything to block this early. And there's something that can't block it, at least until they untap. Play the planes there, give them the most confusing information. This whole turn is forced. Obviously, they don't block no matter what we show them, so no reason to wait until second main. In fact, if we give them extra information, it would only incentivize them more to block, and that'd be fine with us. Yeah, they're going to come in here. I'm fine to trade off, because that Firebrand only trades up once they can pump some mana into it. They could be trying to get a raid trigger, but in any case, if they have to spend a trick, the types of raid triggers they can get are much worse. So it looks like a good block to make there. And they've got their Grixis Charm mana and a Ruin Raider. So getting aggressive looks like the way to play this game, although hitting a land off of a Dark Confidant does not hurt too much. Now we have some options with our second, or our commune here. Yeah, our second commune. Whether to take a land or a Hammerskull, and Hammerskull works out nicely this turn. We can play it. We get to attack here. Honestly, they should probably trade, because Ruin Raider becomes a bit of a liability, and they're not going to get to block so much against this Hammerskull. But they don't. They figure 1 island is not enough off this Ruin Raider. They're going to go for more. So here he comes, and this is also a close choice because our Hammerskull is worth so much, and they've already attacked with a creature. But if they don't want to trade and they spend a trick, that might use up their whole turn, and they're still going to hit themselves. They draw another card off the Ruin Raider, but now we're just going to go nuts with value. They couldn't even play the Firebrand, even if they drew it before their end step, because they don't have the second red. But yeah, I'll get in 5 here, and now it's pretty rough for them to take more damage off the Raider because they're below 10. Yeah, even revealing a 3-drop to that could just send them way too low. Options. Yeah, one thing that's a little concerning here is we saw that Mark of the Vampire, and that can always catch you up from a position like this. If they're gaining 5 a turn and backing it up with any kind of trick, like Mark into Skullduggery here would just turn things around big time. But if they had that, I mean, the longer they wait, the less likely it is they have such a great option. And they played the Ferocidon, so Mark of the Vampire doesn't really work at its full potential when you have a Ferocidon in play. Because it says no players gain life, not just your opponents. All right, a bit tough here. So we've got options. When you play Swordtooth first main, you can get in more trample damage, which is kind of neat. Not to mention, if you have Regisaur Alpha out, it's going to be a 5/5 trample haste. And the real reason to do this is it lets them trade up with Regisaur Alpha more easily, but they just can't trade with both. They can't trade with the Swordtooth and the Alpha. The best they can do is trade with our Alpha and our Dinosaur token and take a lot of damage. So easy to come in here with everything, especially since they're on the back foot. And there's not too much they could have for just a single blue or black. I mean, Skullduggery comes to mind. So, you know, they're in a really tough spot, and they have to try to get the most value they can out of this block to give them the highest chance to live. But, you know, even if you come up with the perfect block here, they still need a lot to go right to have a chance. And they do have something. They have Siren's Ruse, which leaves them dead. They must not have counted the damage from the Raging Swordtooth. So we trampled over for 1 extra. Round 2, on the draw. Let's get our commune going. Opponent's down to 6. It's all looking good. Keeping 6. Get the deck list pulled up here. So start with commune here. Probably just finding, well, mountain. The only land we get is our 1 plains, which is still needed here. Then maybe Wayfinder and Buccaneers can get us into the rest. But this doesn't reveal, right? Yeah, we only reveal the card we choose. So I'll put these guys on top. And then, as I say, we'll try to get some red before our 4 drops here. Drover, that does it. And I think that's a pretty good reason to not play our keeper. Because now, well, Thrash is our only dino. Now, I think what we do is play Buccaneers. There's some tricks they could have to finish it off here. And then, ooh, top that. Now that we have another forest, yeah, I think we definitely top that. Now that we have our red source, that is. And they are revealing Grazing Whiptail. So this is just a white-green dino deck. We'll expect some high toughness. And what are we going to do here? Let's get our Regisaur going. It's just the most power and toughness we can add this turn. We get in 3 damage. They don't kill our creature, which is nice. And they don't have the second green. That's rough. They even kept the Whiptail on top, expecting to draw some green eventually. But they don't quite get there. So other dinosaurs have haste. That's not bad. I think we'll just take advantage of that by putting out our Thrash. The other thing is they're holding up 5 mana, which means they could play a 4/4, they could flash in a 4/4, and they could... what else could they do? They could use Bright Reprisal. I'm going to play around Bright Reprisal, which just means attack with everything, and not play so much around the 4/4 uncommon dino, which is likely that they have, but even if they have it, yeah, Snapping Sailback, we still get 9 damage in here, so that's pretty good. And then we'll keep up the Keeper. So all we have to do is get in, let's say, 3 damage, and we've pretty much won this. No dinos here, so no haste. We'll just attack out here. Maybe they have another source of another way to deal with our stuff, another Sailback or Bright Reprisal. But if not, they're pretty dead. Ah, they do have Bright Reprisal then for the Thrash of Raptors, and that doesn't put them dead. That must be what it is, right? They just had both of the cards I was trying to, think of. Or a Pounce. It might be Pounce, but I'm assuming it's Bright Reprisal. Why not? Okay. So the Snapping Sailback, wow, they just have it all. The Snapping Sailback will go up to a 6/6, and we can finish that off with the Pyromancer, because it takes the damage before it gets the counter. So we're doing all right here. I mean, it does suck that they had everything that they needed. Huh. Let's see what Wayfinder can find us. If that gets us our red, then that's looking pretty good. Just come in here. What do? So they can block this, and they can block that. Pretty much they can't block the Drover or they die, assuming they don't have another Slash of Talons. So we get an extra 1 with that. They block these 2, they die. So they have to block Tishana's Wayfinder and Brazen Buccaneers and take 4. If they have Slash of Talons, they can come out a little better. They're giving us the smiley face, which means they have it. Maybe. They're at 1. You know what they have? Settle the Wreckage. They had every other card I thought they would have, and now they also have Settle the Wreckage and a second Bishop of Rebirth. Great. Settle the Wreckage. Of course they have it. They're giving us the smiley face because they're like, yep, we've won. It's already over. I can't attack into that. They just jump with Diviner and bring it back. Let's play the second Bishop. Alright, now we can try to force enough damage in. Is it possible for them to play around Crash the Ramparts? I don't think so, but I'm not checking. We have to do 1 damage here. They have 1 card in hand. They've played everything else out. Slash of Talons, and yeah, that's about all they could have here. So I think this is the safe play. Thank goodness for Crash the Ramparts. Right? They should have held up their Settle the Wreckage. And they're also splashing red. Or is that that's our mountain? Never mind. No red from them. Shoot, we're going to have to get past a lot of tough creatures, which means Cobbled Wings gets better. Pyromancer is a little worse. Dreadmaw's a little better. Buccaneers is fine. Oh, what to take out? Keeper's fine. Hammer skulls are great. Yeah, I like all this stuff. What to cut? Maybe just the pillar. They're gonna put us on the draw, and we'll have our communes instead. Yeah, it's pretty much between like communes and the pillar here. And we'd take out an artifact, put in an artifact, and there we have it. Not too bad. Get to commune right away, and as long as they don't play a 1/4 immediately, then we're in decent shape here. I'll take a forest. We kind of need forests. The problem there is our second commune will also most likely get a land, since we need red. But getting the third Dreadmaw makes me feel better about that. Okay. Inspiring Cleric. They will happily trade off here, but there's not much we can do about that. No, they're not trading, so that must mean they have bigger plans. Let's see what we can get here. I guess it's the Rootbound Crag, which comes in untapped. And puts out a knight. Okay. So then next turn, it could be 5 here. Putting down Horncrest and then Buccaneers. Here's a 3/4 coming down. No, just a Jade Guardian. So that's actually pretty good for us. We get the Horncrest out, offer the trade again, and they take it. So they would rather have had a 3/2 than a 3/3 hexproof. That's what they're saying. To be fair, they got 3 more damage in by attacking, but still. Alright, now they have Bright Reprisal and their Flash Dinosaur that we have to worry about. To play around that, I mean, they clearly have it, right? So either way, we're doomed. They Bright Reprisal the Horncrest, or they block the Deeproot Warrior. We lose something, and they get something really good out of it. We're not going to fall into those hands. We'll just play this guy, and then sit behind our massive board here until we can get our Dreadmaw out. So they do have the one that's more difficult to play around, the Sailback. If they just had Bright Reprisal in their hand, we'd be doing great. Here, I don't know, trade off one of our Deeproot Warriors, because that doesn't attack past the Sailback. Bishop of Rebirth, but they get to keep getting it back. Oh boy. What to do here? Dreadmaw. Brazen Buccaneers. Let's get the Dreadmaw into play. No attacks. The other option is some attacks, but swashbuckling on something like a Dreadmaw looks more appealing. Whiptail. 10 power. 10 power, 12 toughness. Let's see what Brazen Buccaneers can find. Wow. Yeah, let's top that Cobbled Wings. And force a nice little trade here. I'm going to put the Swashbuckling on Colossal Dreadmaw. That means if they have nothing else, we kill the Bishop of Rebirth. They might have something else, but if they don't, we definitely kill the Bishop. They know Cobbled Wings is coming too, for better or worse. But I like the position where they can't get Inspiring Cleric back into play. What a combo. bishop, gaining 4 life, getting a chump blocker every single turn. And we can block it too. Our tiny creatures combine forces to block it pretty well. Yeah, that's not bad. Keep the order as it is. They take 8. They lose 1 of their better creatures. And they're going to wait for Bright Reprisal for our giant Dreadmaw, which is kind of annoying. That thing comes back. I don't want them to keep doing this every single turn. We also don't want this Grazing Whiptail, because once they deal with our 8/8 Dreadmaw with Bright Reprisal, we just can't attack into 5 mana, I think. They play another one. Okay. Okay, they got us. Coupled Wings. And we're at 11. They could do 9. They could do maybe 11. I think we just want to attack with our Dreadmaw here. We could have tried to get in for 10, and some things kind of change. We're just hoping they don't have Bright Reprisal, and maybe they're just planning on jumping with the Grazing Whiptail. Wayfinder. They don't have good attacks. Bishop doesn't unlock anything. If they attack, it means they just definitely have Slash of Talons. But I don't want to take all this damage. They slash the Deeproot Warrior, kill the Wayfinder. That's what that attack means, right? Yeah, Slash of Talons. However, let's see here. They're at 8. We do 6, and then get attacked back for way too much. 6, 7, 8, 7, 8. They attack back for 8, but we can block some of it. They must not have much left. There's only one real way to play this. Right, it's not lethal. 3, oh, we're only doing 5, I'm sorry. I'm miscounting. Getting ahead of myself, but it doesn't matter. They can't block 8 damage, trample in the air next turn. They need Bright Reprisal, or they need removal or something. 3, 6, 7, 8, so just barely got there against a neat deck. And that means we're on to the finals. On the play in the finals with a reasonable hand, Commune can kind of find whatever we need, which in this case is a creature, a green creature, if we're lucky, versus MSS Kinbolic. Alright, Dinotopia. What kind of monsters can we dig up? Can we awaken? Ooh, we need this mountain. But we also want Regisaur Alpha. I'm going to take Regisaur Alpha and hope we get a mountain. Just on power level here. We don't know what we're up against, but we're on the play. We're likely to hit our land drops. And we have a lot of green 2-drops we could draw into to sort of stabilize into this late game. And what you really want to do is curve out Alpha into Dreadmaw, because the Dreadmaw will have haste. How did we get another Sword Tooth? Maybe we didn't see a Sword Tooth. They look the same because they have the same mana cost if you're just looking at the top of the card. Uh-oh. Come on, red. Watch, we only get white this time. Yep. Yep, but that's better than green, so we'll take it. And we've still got time to draw our first red source. 2 Dinotopias, 0 mountains were picked. I can't wait until we cast this Swordtooth. That's the one they don't know about. How many vampires do you think it's going to kill? Right now 0, but it does kill a dinosaur. I hate this guy. This guy is impossible to block. It doesn't matter how many creatures you have, because they're going to have one more trick or one more removal spell, Pious Interdiction, than you have creatures, and the last creature left just won't be able to block. Still not killing any vampires, but what's the silver lining here? No silver lining. The silver lining is the alpha can try to block the Hammer Skull, but you'll see what I mean. We're going to go to block the Hammer Skull with our alpha because they'll tap down the dinosaur and they're going to have Vampire Zeal. No, they don't have it yet. That is good news. I mean, they shouldn't really play Schooner first main, but yeah. All right, wow, we dodged whatever that was. Whatever that was, indeed. So what can we do now? Now we can get on the offensive. We'll go Colossal Dreadmaw. They double block it with Schooner Castaways. Or maybe Schooner Companion. Or just take it. Yeah, they're trying to get in there. 11. Oh, there we go. Good thing we saved the Swordtooth. Now it'll kill 2 vampires. The count is up. I mean, we're not at a super high life total here. But neither are they. They're just dead. 10. We're taking it really low. 15, but we're going to do 15 with the Swordtooth back. So our safest block here is the Schooner. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if they have Vampire Zeal, and it doesn't look like they do, or they would have made a different attack earlier, this is the safest block. And then if they have Vampire Zeal, they win on the Crackback. Gosh, this is difficult. 3, 7, 8, 9, 10. If we block the Hammer Skull, it sets us up to maybe... No, we're still dead to that because that's 10. Yeah, we have to block the Schooner here. It's the only block that leads to a possible win. But if this resolves and they do not have Vampire Zeal, pretty sure we win. The card that makes the thing indestructible might also save them there. They go to 15. 15, and we do 15 because we don't have to assign a damage to the indestructible creature. So the only card that would have saved them there is Vampire Zeal. They would have already played it, and they didn't, so I don't think they had it. Dual Shot coming in. Do we have our own vehicles? Because those are the few things that play well against Territorial Hammer Skull. No. Crushing Canopy might be worth it. I don't think we've resolved a Hammer Skull yet. Maybe we have. Maybe we have. Drover, Swashbuckling. I'm going to remove Swashbuckling. We have some other good haste creatures and put in Dual Shot. It's a little more defensive and seems to be good against a vampire deck. Yeah, surprisingly, the red-green vampire deck has a good matchup. The red-green, rather, dinosaur deck has a good matchup against the vampires if it can resolve some of its like raging sword tooths. They're down to 6. That is good for us. And we've got some of our most powerful cards. That's not a bad sign for us either. Skyblade. And we should play something that can definitely attack through it, which is the warrior. Our 3-drop is the Wayfinder, not a dinosaur. Yeah, I'll play this first. They play around more tricks this way. The big trick in green outside of Merfolk is the big trample spell. What do we get? More big dinosaurs. Nope, a land. But a land is good. It keeps us curving out here. Get 3-2. No, a 1-7. That'll block some of our guys. For sure. So now they either double block the Wayfinder and take 2, or single block the warrior and take 0. Unless we get a 3-3. Commune. I'm going to graveyard commune because we have the creatures we need. We just want land, but we don't want to take a turn off to find land. So this attack looks good. Yeah, so we get our 2 damage in without paying a big price. Now they've got bigger, better blockers. Alpha time. Alpha attack. And I will come in with the same stuff. I still don't like attacking with the Wayfinder because they can kill it for free. The dinosaur's probably okay. On the other hand, this is where this is what separates the pros from the common players. You know, just to be quick, I would attack like this. It makes sense. If we're both at 300 life, the attack makes a lot of sense. But since they're at 16, if we attack with this and they double block it, and then they just don't block with the interlopers, they take 8, which is half of their life, but they don't lose anything. I think that's worth it. Yeah, so I would guess it's unlikely they kill our Wayfinder here. They have to spend a lot to kill it. Yeah. Even this block is a little surprising. No, I guess it makes sense. I would have expected them to Looming Altosaur Interloper on the dinosaur, but this is fine. Okay, so let's kill a 2-2 or a 1-3. Another tough question. I'm not sure. We're going to have trample. They're just going to block our biggest guy anyway. If we kill the 1-3, it lets our Wayfinder get in there, or at least trade with the interloper. Yeah, I'll kill the 1-3. If they let us, they could have a trick here. Ouch. Regisaur Alpha. That means our Dreadmaws won't have trample. Doesn't make them much easier to deal with. Just a little bit. And this is back to where we started, where we can't really attack with the Wayfinder. No, we can attack with it because we got rid of the Skyblade. Okay. Yeah. Most likely block is double block the dinosaur, take 4. Which is... oh. They're Prioritizing taking less damage now, which I guess is fine. Either way kills a creature and trades with the interloper, but yeah, this way we have more trample on the board and bigger creatures. Binding? No. Not with another one in our hand. How often does that get relevant? Well, it's relevant now. We can bring in our canopy. Wait, what am I doing? This thing's red, isn't it? Read like a book. 4, 7, blah. We still get to attack. This gets in 2 damage. And they might trade the schooner with our 3/3. Yeah, that's fine, I guess. More giant creatures. Here we go. 7. See what we can pick off with this. We get in at least 1 damage here. I guess this makes sense. Do we waste the Keeper to kill the Allosaur? Oh, I should have attacked with both. Honestly, I was thinking they could kill either of our creatures. Yes, we should have attacked with both. But we didn't, and we carefully made a good attack earlier in the game, but that was not a good attack. And it lets them develop. Yeah, come in and attack us. This is what makes random white-black decks good. They have access to some of the best removal. Common and uncommon. Yeah, they'll just hold it all back. I'm glad we didn't put our 3rd Dreadmaw in here. But this'll work nicely. It pumps up our knight, and oh no, they're still getting more stuff. Yeah, I guess I'm fine with them attacking. Let's go for it. 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll just attack with everything. Pump up whatever blocks the Hammer Skull. They've got nothing in hand. And by everything, I mean everything but the Keeper. And tap down the Allosaur. So we know we're killing something. And they don't have great blocks. They really don't. They could double... Oh, they double block that. That makes sense. I'm not sure if it's great, but it makes sense, at the very least. Right. We've got 2 goals here. One is getting our territorial Hammer Skull to live. The other is killing their Shining Aerosaur. We could get them to 1. Not sure how important that is. Yeah, I mean, yeah, 3 options. Which creature to pump? The knight is just going to get smaller anyway. This was good blocking by them. So we lose 2 creatures. They lose 2 creatures. We get in at least 2 damage. What do you do? What do you do here? We can keep tapping a creature with the Hammer Skull, but the problem is they're going to have three. Well, they're going to have two creatures with 3 power. I guess that's fine. Yeah, let's pump this. Let's pump the Hammer Skull. Let's pump the Hammer Skull. It's a higher priority creature. It kills their Hammer Skull, and it means they can't really attack with the flyers unless they draw something good. Because then we just tap the other flyer down and get in for 2. We need to draw our pump spell. That would probably win us the game. Unless they've got more bindings and pious interdictions ready to go. Even if they drew land here, it's worth thinking about. We're at 16, they're at 4. They can survive 1 attack on board. We've got 2 cards in hand they have to worry about. So they can't attack with 2. They can't attack with 3. They can attack with Shining or Imperial Aerosaur, and that's it. More likely, if they didn't draw anything, they'll just hold everything back, which means we can't attack. It turns out they're attacking with everything. Which means they have Settle the Wreckage, but they always have Settle the Wreckage. No, it actually means they have... They could have the untap spell. Alright, here's what they could have. Settle the Wreckage, Bright Reprisal, and the untap spell. +1/+1, untap everything. We only beat one of those cards, and it's the Shining, or the Bright Reprisal. So let's see. It is Bright Reprisal, so we win. Thank you, and good night. That was, I mean, that's what we needed. Crash the ramparts. So we got there. Alright, thank you for watching. Good luck in your Ixalan drafts. The, not iconic, some kind of Masters comes out this, this weekend. Good luck, have fun with that. And I will catch you next time.